So Randal Kolo Muani has done his time in the top 5 European leagues, and now at the age of 24 years old, it seems like the Eintracht Frankfurt man, who they signed for free at the end of his Nantes contract in the summer of 2022, could be on the cusp of developing into one of the world's elite forwards. Like his French teammate Mbappe, Muani is kind of a striker-winger hybrid, capable of playing as a wide forward or an inside forward from either flank, though I can see him developing his back-to-goal play and moving to become an out-and-out centre-forward, potentially in Ten Hag's 4-3-3. Now this would be a move away from the type of centre-forward that it seemed Ten Hag initially wanted, with Harry Kane seemingly United's #1 centre-forward target this summer. But then again, you have to realise that there are very few strikers in the world that can play that playmaking forward role as well as Harry Kane can. And so maybe Ten Hag wants to move to the quick, combative side of the striker scale and essentially try to mould a player in the style of Victor Osimhen, Darwin Núñez or Erling Haaland, all incredibly physical and athletic forwards who are involved in progressing the ball forward just as much as they are scoring inside of the box as a traditional target man or poacher would, with Haaland even adding this to his game this season. But whilst Muani's potential is huge, he certainly isn't elite just yet, and like Darwin Núñez this season, I think Muani may need a season to adapt to the Premier League and his role at United. 23 goals and 17 assists in 45 games in all competitions show Muani's goal scoring pedigree, though I don't think if he was to move to England next season he would be on 40 goal contributions for the season, but he isn't going to completely drop off, comfortably being able to secure around 25 goal contributions in all competitions in my opinion, as well as 12 to 15 Premier League goals as well. But I suppose when you sign Muani, you are signing him for potential more than anything, which obviously is a trade-off with going for a younger, less established forward like Muani in comparison to Harry Kane, who immediately is going to come in at a world-class level, whereas Muani is likely going to take 1 if not 2 seasons before he's able to give a world-class season. Coming on to his statistical analysis, we can see that when compared against every other forward in Europe's top 5 leagues over the past 365 days, Muani ranks in the 55th and 70th percentile for his non-penalty XG and his non-penalty goals respectively, overperforming his non-penalty XG by 0.08 per 90. Now these are very good goal scoring numbers, showing that if Muani is put into a better side, his finishing ability is clinical enough for him to significantly improve his goals per 90, potentially going from around the 0.40 per 90 mark to around 0.7 or 0.8 within the next few seasons. But despite his goal scoring metrics being good but not elite, it's Muani's creativity and ball progressing ability that is a reason why clubs like United are so interested, even with a likely price tag in excess of £70 million. But before I go any further, if you do want to listen to my content in a more long form format, you can subscribe to my Patreon, where I already have my first episode out with AJ Analysis, where we did a review of United's season prior to the FA Cup final, and I've also got an episode to put out very soon going for about 10 to 15 different players, analysing not only where they should go but whether United should be interested. You'll get 4 or 5 hour long podcast episodes each month, discussing not just Manchester United but pretty much everything in football, as well as discussing things like players the streets won't forget, memorable football nostalgia, wonder kids and in-depth football tactics. And so by signing up to the Patreon for £4.50 per month, you are massively helping to support the channel as well, so a massive thank you for that. We can see that Muani ranks in the 90th percentile for his XG assisted, showing statistically that Muani is amongst the top 10% of forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues when it comes to the quality of chances he's able to create, an attribute that would definitely be needed in Ten Hag's front line, with Rashford being very much a goal scorer rather than a creator from the left side. But Muani isn't going to be facilitating Rashford in the same way that Harry Kane would, which would be via his progressive passing from deeper positions. No, instead Muani thrives when he's driving the ball forward at his feet and using his winger-like dribbling ability to beat players in 1v1s with his explosive acceleration and physical power, reminiscent of the likes of Mbappe and Leao. Only we tend to see Muani do this more from the right side, which potentially would suit United, and so a move for Muani would definitely be a move towards a quicker transition in attack, rather than the more methodical approach that Ten Hag had at Ajax and probably would have with Harry Kane as striker. Muani instead is going to allow United to progress the ball forward at speed, with his ball carrying ability, power and pace, making him the perfect player to drive the attack forward or provide a run into the channel. And we can see this as he ranks in the mid 90th percentiles for his successful take-ons, progressive carries, carries into the final third and carries into the penalty area, showing that from a statistical point of view, Muani isn't just an elite level ball progressor for a forward, but an elite ball progressor overall. But where would he fit in at United, because he certainly isn't a like-for-like alternative to Harry Kane? Well, I think Muani could split his time between playing as a centre forward in a 4-3-3 and a right-sided forward in a 4-4-2 diamond, up front alongside Marcus Rashford, with him being more over to the left side. But wherever he plays in whatever system, Muani is going to be floating over to the flanks rather than maintaining a central position, and to be honest we could even see him being transformed into more of a complete centre forward, dropping off from the forward line, receiving the ball to feet and linking the attacks with quick layoffs, just as Muani's French teammate Olivier Giroud has mastered. Though predominantly Muani's threat is going to come from his movement in behind the back line, giving United a front three where all of the players prefer to run ahead and receive the ball in space, rather than receiving the ball to feet as Harry Kane and Martial currently do. And Muani can also pull over to either flank, allowing Antony or Rashford to move in field into a more temporary central position, or link with them in the channel and provide a willing runner ahead. And so this is going to put more creative burden on the 2-3-8s in Ten Hag's 2-3-5 possession shape, which may occasionally be more of a 2-3-2-3, depending on how deep the advanced midfielders ahead of Casemiro sit. With a more advanced forward like Muani up front, if the two behind are Mount and Fernandes, which it looks like it will be, then both will be tasked with finding space in behind the opposition's midfield to receive the ball and then look to find Rashford, Muani or Antony with a through ball. Whereas with Kane in the system, Mount and Fernandes would be required to make movement ahead of him, looking to break into goal scoring positions, with Kane taking on playmaking responsibilities. And so in short, having Muani as centre forward will probably see the likes of Mount and Fernandes score less but create more. And with both, but particularly Bruno Fernandes, being fantastic at seeing and playing through balls for runners in behind during a quick transition in attack, Muani should have a constant supply of opportunity to get into those wide 1v1 positions that Rashford thrives on from the left. Certainly, in some big games, United may not just need pace in behind the back line from central positions, but also ball carrying ability to enable United to transition the ball quickly up the pitch via one player carrying the ball forward. They already have this on the flanks with both Antony and Rashford, and so Muani would add yet more ball progression to the counter-attack. Another reason why I like the idea of using Muani through the middle is because whilst you may expect a lot of his goals and assists to come from wider positions in the box, given he is more of a wide forward or inside forward, the majority of his goal contributions actually come from him receiving the ball centrally and making a pass or shot from a relatively central position. And so I would say that Muani isn't a forward like Rashford who needs to operate primarily from a wide position, creating goal scoring opportunities via movements from out to in, as he can be more involved from central positions around the box. To me, Kolo Muani seems like he has the potential to be the ultimate Martial upgrade, having similar abilities to Martial, but just being higher output in most areas, putting himself about more and just being more involved in general, whilst also having the tenacity and work rate that you could say that Martial lacks. And so I think if United aren't able to sign Harry Kane, they could do a lot worse than Randal Kolo Muani. At £70 to £75 million he would be expensive, but you are getting a positionally versatile, multifunctional forward who can do a variety of different things, with his best attributes being his elite level ball carrying and dribbling ability, and whilst I would guess that he would come in and probably score between 12 and 15 Premier League goals in his first season, I do think in his second and third we could see him hitting between 20 and 25. Muani's potential is the top, and so United would have a potential Ballon d'Or level player in their ranks by his late 20s, if he is developed right of course, exactly the calibre of player that United need going forward under Ten Hag. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, check out some of my others which will be linked in the description, and if you want to see some long form content you can subscribe to my Patreon, where I will be releasing 4 or 5 podcast episodes each month.